If you're over 50, you have probably been told your whole life, walk more. And walking is fine. But here's the truth. Nobody is saying out loud, walking alone is not enough to protect your muscles, your bones, your balance, or your independence as you age. There are 3 specific exercises that deliver results. Walking simply cannot. And once you see the science behind them, you will want to start today. Why walking is not enough after 50. Let's be honest about something first, because this matters. Walking is movement, and movement is good. Nobody is taking that away from you. A daily walk improves your mood, keeps your cardiovascular system ticking, and gets you outside. All of that is real and valuable. But after the age of 50, your body faces challenges that a 20-minute stroll around the block simply cannot address. And if you do not address them directly, the consequences compound quietly until one day they are not so quiet anymore. Here is what is actually happening inside your body after 50. You're losing muscle. This is called sarcopenia, and it is the single most underdiscussed health crisis of aging. After the age of 30, you begin losing between 3 and 5% of your muscle mass per decade. After 60, that rate accelerates. By 70, many people have lost 25 to 30% of the muscle they had in their prime, and they do not even know it. This is not about vanity or looking athletic. Muscle is your metabolic engine. It regulates blood sugar, protects your joints, keeps your posture upright, and most critically, it is what catches you when you stumble. It is the difference between a close call and a broken hip. You are also losing bone density. After menopause in women and after 65 in men, bone mineral density drops at a rate that makes fractures an increasingly real threat. Walking does place mild stress on the bones of your legs, which is helpful, but it does not load your spine, your wrists, your hips, or your upper body in any meaningful way. The bones that are most likely to fracture, the hip, the vertebrae, the wrist, need targeted, progressive loading to stay dense and resilient. Walking does not provide that. And then there is balance. The neuromuscular system, the communication network between your brain and your muscles, degrades with age if it is not actively challenged. The tiny stabilizer muscles in your ankles, hips, and core that make you steady on your feet need to be trained. Walking on flat pavement does not train them. The result is a dangerous decline in proprioception, your body's ability to know where it is in space, that leaves millions of older adults vulnerable to falls every single year. Falls are the #1 cause of injury-related death in adults over 65 in the United States. Every 11 seconds, an older adult is treated in an emergency room for a fall. Every 19 minutes, one dies. These are not scare statistics. They are an urgent call to action. And the frustrating part is that most of this is preventable. The body responds to the right kind of training at any age. Research has shown that adults in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s can build meaningful muscle, improve bone density, and dramatically sharpen their balance when they do the right exercises. So what are those exercises? Here they are. Exercise 1. Resistance strength training. Resistance training, also called strength training or weight training, is the single most powerful anti-aging tool available to humans right now. This is not an exaggeration. The research on this is overwhelming and consistent. A landmark study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology found that just 10 weeks of resistance training in older adults produced significant increases in muscle strength, muscle size, and functional capacity. More recent research has confirmed that these gains are possible well into the 9th decade of life. Your muscles do not stop responding. They are waiting to be asked. Here's what resistance training does that walking cannot do. When you place your muscles under a load they are not accustomed to, whether that is a dumbbell, a resistance band, your own body weight, or a machine at the gym, tiny micro tears form in the muscle fibers. Your body repairs those tears and builds them back stronger and thicker. This is hypertrophy, and it is the engine of muscle maintenance. Every session you complete is a message to your body. Keep this muscle. We need it. Without that signal, the body has no reason to maintain expensive metabolic tissue, and the slow loss continues. But the benefits go far beyond the muscles themselves. Resistance training is one of the most effective interventions for improving insulin sensitivity, which is critical because type 2 diabetes rates skyrocket in middle age and beyond. It increases resting metabolic rate, meaning you burn more calories even when you are sitting still. It strengthens the connective tissues. tendons, ligaments, and the cartilage around your joints, reducing the pain and stiffness associated with arthritis. It improves posture by strengthening the muscles of the back, shoulders, and core that tend to weaken with age and desk work. And it has a powerful positive effect on mental health, reducing symptoms of depression and anxiety with the same effectiveness as some medications. Perhaps most importantly for people over 50, resistance training is one of the most effective ways to increase bone mineral density. When muscles contract against resistance, they pull on the bones they are attached to. That tension is the stimulus the bone needs to maintain its density. Research from McMaster University showed that women who performed resistance training twice a week over a year had measurably higher bone density in their spine and hips compared to a control group. This is exactly the kind of protection that could prevent a catastrophic fracture later in life. For adults over 50, the most effective and sustainable approach is to perform compound movements, exercises that work multiple muscle groups at once, 2 to 3 times per week with at least one rest day between sessions. Exercise 2, balance and proprioception. Training this one does not look impressive. You will not break a sweat doing it. Nobody at the gym will glance over and think you look like an athlete. But balance training is, without question, one of the most important things you can do for your long-term survival and independence, and it is almost universally ignored by people over 50 until it is too late. Your balance is a skill, and like all skills, it deteriorates with disuse. The vestibular system in your inner ear, the proprioceptors in your joints and muscles, and the visual processing centers in your brain all work together to keep you upright. After 50, all 3 of these systems begin to decline. The messages travel more slowly. The muscles that respond to those messages are weaker. The brain processes the incoming signals less efficiently. The result is a gradual but relentless degradation in your ability to catch yourself when you stumble, which is exactly the scenario that leads to falls, fractures, and the downward spiral that follows. A study published in the British Medical Journal found that balance and strength training reduced the rate of falls in older adults by up to 34%. Another major review of over 159 randomized controlled trials covering more than 79,000 participants found that exercise programs that included balance training were the most effective single intervention for reducing fall risk in community-dwelling older adults. The evidence is as clear as it gets in the health sciences. Train your balance, and you significantly reduce your risk of one of the most dangerous events that can happen as you age. What does balance training look like in practice? The simplest place to start is single leg standing. Stand near a wall or counter for safety, lift one foot just off the ground, and hold for 10 to 30 seconds. Alternate legs. That is the entry point. As you improve, you progress. Close your eyes while standing on one leg. Now you are removing the visual input and forcing your proprioceptive system to do more work. Stand on a folded towel or a balance pad. Now the surface is unstable, and your stabilizer muscles have to fire harder. Progress to single leg movements, single leg deadlifts, step-ups, lateral lunges. Each of these challenges the body's ability to control itself in space, building the neuromuscular connections that make you steady and confident on your feet. Tai Chi deserves special mention here. Multiple studies, including a comprehensive review from Cochrane, have confirmed that Tai Chi is one of the most effective activities for reducing falls in older adults. It is a moving meditation that requires continuous weight shifting, body awareness, and controlled, deliberate movement. It also has proven benefits for reducing blood pressure, improving cognitive function, and reducing symptoms of anxiety and depression. Yoga is another powerful tool for balance, flexibility, and body awareness. Standing poses like tree pose, warrior 3, and half moon pose directly challenge your balance system. The combination of strength, flexibility, and mindfulness that yoga develops is particularly well suited to the needs of adults over 50. Even 10 to 15 minutes of deliberate balance work several times per week will produce meaningful improvements in your stability and your confidence in your own body. Do not wait until a fall convinces you this matters. Start now, while it is purely a choice rather than a response to crisis. Exercise 3. Modified High-Intensity Interval Training, HIIT. Before you click away, this is not what you think. When most people over 50 hear high-intensity interval training, they picture 25-year-olds doing box jumps and burpees and collapsing on the floor. That is not what we are talking about. Modified HIIT for adults over 50 is about pushing your effort level relative to your own baseline, not somebody else's peak. For short, controlled bursts, followed by recovery. And the science behind what this does to your body at the cellular level is nothing short of remarkable. The most dramatic discovery in recent exercise science is what HIIT does to your mitochondria, the energy-producing organelles inside your cells that decline with age. A landmark 2017 study from the Mayo Clinic, published in Cell Metabolism, found that high-intensity interval training reversed cellular aging in older adults at the molecular level. Older adults who did HIIT showed a 69% increase in mitochondrial capacity, the ability of their cells to produce energy. That number is extraordinary. In younger adults, the improvement was 49%. The older adults responded more. Let that sink in. The research team's lead scientist described the results as reversing the aging process, at least at the cellular level. What HIIT does beyond the cellular level is also compelling. It is the most time-efficient way to improve your cardiovascular health, outperforming steady-state cardio, like walking or jogging for improving VO2 max, the measure of how efficiently your body uses oxygen. VO2 max is one of the strongest predictors of longevity ever measured. Research published in JAMA Network Open found that having a high VO2 max was more strongly associated with a reduced risk of dying than smoking status, diabetes, high blood pressure, or any of the conventional risk factors we usually focus on. And HIIT raises your VO2 max faster and more significantly than any other type of exercise. HIIT also has a powerful effect on metabolic health. It dramatically improves insulin sensitivity, the body's ability to use glucose properly, which is critical for preventing and managing type 2 diabetes. It lowers blood pressure, reduces inflammation, and improves blood lipid profiles. It triggers the release of human growth hormone, which it declines sharply after 50 and is responsible for maintaining muscle mass, bone density, and tissue repair. And it produces a prolonged elevation in resting metabolism, known as the afterburn effect, meaning you continue burning more calories for hours after the session ends. Here's what modified HIIT looks like for someone over 50 who has not been exercising intensely. You pick an activity you can do safely: walking, cycling, swimming, using an elliptical, rowing, or even marching in place. You warm up for 5 minutes at an easy pace. Then you increase your effort to what feels like a 7 or 8 out of 10, challenging, slightly breathless, but not desperate, for 20 to 30 seconds. Then you recover at an easy pace for 90 seconds to 2 minutes. You repeat that cycle 6 to 10 times. Then you cool down for 5 minutes. The total workout time is 20 to 30 minutes. You do this 2 to 3 times per week. That is it. That is the protocol that produced a 69% improvement in mitochondrial capacity in the Mayo Clinic study. The key distinction from conventional HIIT is the work-to-rest ratio and the choice of exercise. Adults over 50 generally benefit from longer rest periods, giving the cardiovascular system and the joints adequate time to recover between efforts. Swimming and cycling are particularly joint-friendly options for those with knee, hip, or ankle issues. Walking intervals, alternating between your comfortable pace and your fast walking effort, are a perfect starting point for beginners and are highly effective despite their simplicity. The threshold that matters is not the specific activity, it is the effort level. Are you genuinely pushing yourself to a level that is hard to sustain? If yes, you are getting the benefits. One important note: if you have cardiovascular disease, high blood pressure that is not controlled, or have been sedentary for an extended period, get clearance from your doctor before beginning HIIT. Once you have that clearance, the research strongly supports HIIT as one of the most powerful investments you can make in your biological age. Before you go, if this video gave you something real, something you can actually use, I want to ask you to do 3 small things that take less than 10 seconds and mean everything to this channel. First, hit the like button right now. It sounds small, but it tells the algorithm that this kind of content is worth sharing. And it is what helps videos like this reach the people who need them most. Every single like matters more than you know. See you in next video.